Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ify, and thanks to all the people that have subscribed to my channel. If you are seeing this face for the first time, please hit the subscribe button so that you can join the family. So I promised I was going to make a video about the immigration pathways that will be opening next year, 2025. So as you all know, Canada has closed so many pathways when it comes to immigrating to Canada. But one thing with Canada immigration is when they close pathways that they already know that is okay in the country, like they don't need those set of people, they try to open a new pathways that will help the people that they need to come into the country. So now they are planning to open 4 major pathways that you can use to come into Canada as a permanent resident, and that is what I'm going to be discussing in this video. So if you're interested to come to Canada as a permanent resident, which is always what I advocate for, I will recommend you watch this video to the end and see. I'll discuss the criteria, the requirements, and the eligibility for you to come through this pathway. I will summarize everything, but I'm going to leave the link, each of the pathways, the link in the description box so that you can reach more details about it. So these are the 4 new pathways Canada wants to open coming 2025. So if you want to immigrate to Canada as a permanent resident, we are going to be discussing the 4 new pathways you can use to come in as a permanent resident into Canada. Number 1 is the Enhanced Caregiver Program. Number 2 is the Rural Community Immigration Pilot. Number 3 is the Francophone Community Immigration Pilot. And the last one is Manitoba's West Central Immigration Initiative Pilot. So I'm going to be discussing each eligibility requirement for each of these programs and see what you can do to strategize yourself to be selected among this program. Like I always say, Canada does not welcome people that they don't need. So it's left for you guys to strategize yourself, align yourself to meet the eligibility and the requirement of those programs so that you can qualify for it. So let's discuss each of those programs and see what you can do. So the number 1 is the Enhanced Caregiver Program. So this program was announced earlier this year. This program is the one that replaced the one that requires you to come into Canada, work for 1 year, and then you can apply for permanent resident. But this Enhanced Caregiver Program, that is why the program is called Enhanced, because it's like a modification of the one that has already come to an end. So this caregiver program requires you to have a job offer, write an English language test, which you must have a minimum of band 4, and then you must have a work experience under this field. And in terms of education, you need to have a minimum of high school, meaning that is what we call secondary school. So in order for you to use that your education, you must evaluate it with WES or other approved organization that is recommended by Canada so that it can be recognized. So these are the criteria for you to come through this pathway. And remember that once you get a job offer as you're coming to Canada, you're applying for permanent resident. That is why they say is on arrival, like you get a permanent resident on arrival, which is different from the other one that has come to an end, where it requires you to to work for 1 full year before you can apply for permanent resident. So this one, once you get a job, you meet the educational requirement, you write your language test with a minimum of band 4, you are good to go. Once you land yourself in Canada, you are applying as a permanent resident. So that is it. I'm going to leave a link so that you can read more details about the program. Then the second one I want to discuss is the Rural Community Immigration Pilot. So I'm going to explain what it is and the eligibility, what you need to do to qualify for this program. So this program is the one that is replacing the Rural and Northern Immigration pilot. This program will help you to get permanent residence. For you to be eligible for this program, you need to get a job offer in one of the small rural communities, and you need to prove that you will live in that community after the job offer. Also, you need to have at least a secondary school education, which you must evaluate if you studied outside Canada, and you need to write an English language exams, which you must have either band 4, 5, or 6 and above, depending on your work experience. Meaning, if your work experience falls under tier 0 and 1, you need to have a band 6 and above in your English language exams. And if your work experience falls under tier 2 and 3, you need to have band 5 and above in your English language exams. And if your work experience falls under tier 4 and 5, you need to have overall band language 4 in your English exams. And also, you need to show a proof of fund that will be sufficient enough for you, who is the primary applicant, and your family for at least 1 year. So I'm just going to summarize everything, the major point for this particular pilot. The major one is you need to have a job offer in one of the rural community. You need to show that you have at least a secondary school level of education. And thirdly, you need to show a proof of fund. Fourth, you need to show that you must reside in that rural community. So I'm going to leave a link in the description box so that you can read more about the details for this program. So the next one I'll be discussing is the Francophone immigration or Francophone community immigration pilot. This is the eligibility is almost same thing with the rural community immigration pilot. The difference is that this one will be for French speakers. There are some selected communities that you must intend to live in if you go through this pathway. So the requirement is also you have to get a job offer, and you need to write a French exams, which is the TEF Canada or the TCF Canada, and you must have a minimum of band 5 for you to be eligible. And also you must show a proof of fund. And in terms of education, you need to have finished at least a secondary school level of education. And if you're outside Canada, you need to evaluate your education so that it can be recognized in Canada. So the major hurdle here is for you to get a job offer, and it must be a qualified job offer for you to be able to go through this pathway. I tell you guys that when it comes to learning French, there are so many pathways other than this Francophone community immigration pilot program. With the French, you can actually be qualified for the normal French draw, which is through the express entry route. Okay, so you mustn't come through this program. Once you have, if you know how to speak French, you write the French exam, you qualify for so many pathways. Even some provinces that requires French speakers can nominate you while you are in the express entry pool. So I always recommend you guys that if you can, not if you can, if that determination will help you to push yourself to learn French. With French, you can't go wrong, irrespective of your age. Once you learn French, you qualify for so many pathways, either through the express entry route or provincial nominee program, even the CEC, and now this Francophone community immigration pilot. So you see that they really need French speakers. So now that they need French speakers, it's left for you guys to try to learn French before it is too late. One thing with Canada immigration is once the thing that they need is getting filled up, they stop it. So you can see that they are introducing new pathways because this is what they need for now. But the time will come, they will also stop it. So always hop on new pathways that they open. Just align yourself, strategize yourself so that you can qualify for these pathways. So just go and learn French. That is my best recommendation. So the last one is the Manitoba's West Central Immigration Initiative pilot. Though they've not given much details about this pilot, but according to the press release, they need like 200 to 300 people in the province over the next 3 years. So they are here to talk more about this program, the eligibility and the requirements. But the program is a way of also helping with labor shortages. So they are going to discuss or explain more about the eligibility and the job requirements, but it's still in rural community settings. But I know that one of the major requirements will still be a job offer in one of the rural communities in Manitoba. But we are hoping that by next year they will give more details about the program, the eligibility, and what you guys need to do to qualify for the program. So guys, these are the 4 immigration pathways that will be released by 2025. Look for a way to strategize yourself. If you've not started learning French, please learn the French. With the French, you can't go wrong. For now, Canada is really looking for people that speak French. With French, you are qualified with for so many pathways, irrespective of your age, whether you're in your 40s or in your 50s. With French, you can't go wrong. So, guys, just align and strategize yourself so that you can qualify for this pathway and you'll be welcome in Canada 2025 by God's grace. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, and share this video as well. I'll see you in my next video.